America is entering a new stage of the affordability crisis. Healthcare costs, rent, groceries, utilities, and even basic insurance have surged to levels many households can't keep up with. Against this backdrop, President Donald Trump is exploring a new proposal that could send money directly to the American people, not through insurance companies, not through health exchanges, but straight into personal bank accounts. The surprising twist is that this plan is not connected to tariffs or stimulus. Instead, it is tied to the massive increase in Affordable Care Act costs, especially the enhanced pandemic-era subsidies that expire at the end of 2025. These subsidies were created during COVID to prevent millions from losing insurance. Now they're expected to vanish, creating a crisis that could force Washington to decide whether to raise spending, cut spending, or redirect the money back to taxpayers. Before we go deeper, I want to ask you, do you think sending the money directly to people is better than giving it to insurance companies? Yes or no? Drop your answer in the comments for engagement. And if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe to Social Security Post so you never miss important updates affecting Social Security, SSI, SSDI, healthcare, and low-income programs. The Affordable Care Act's expanded subsidies are scheduled to expire at the end of 2025, and the consequences are enormous. Right now, 22 million Americans rely on these subsidies to afford their monthly health insurance premiums. Without the expanded tax credits, premiums are projected to more than double overnight on January 1st, 2026. These subsidies cost the government $57 billion in 2020. But due to inflation, enrollment growth, and expanded eligibility, that spending is projected to hit $130 billion in 2025. This is more than double in just 5 years. And lawmakers on both sides admit it's not sustainable without major policy changes. Meanwhile, the U.S. spent roughly $1.6 trillion on all forms of health coverage in 2023 to 2024, making healthcare one of the most expensive items in the entire federal budget. Democrats want to extend the enhanced credits because they argue millions will lose coverage or face unaffordable premiums if they disappear. Republicans argue that the government is funding insurance companies, not families, and that subsidy expansion is masking deeper affordability failures. This clash is happening at the exact time millions are struggling with record-high rent, food costs, gas prices, and medical bills, making the issue even more urgent. The policy debate has become one of the biggest pre-2026 financial decisions in Washington, because whatever lawmakers choose will impact premiums, federal spending, and potentially direct payments back to taxpayers. President Trump's team has floated a major policy shift. Instead of paying billions to insurance companies, give the money back to the American people. The logic behind this proposal is simple. If taxpayers are the ones funding the system, they should be the ones to benefit when subsidies expire. Today, 88% of Americans pay for health insurance in some form. For people with employer insurance, workers generally pay around 25% of the cost, while employers contribute roughly 75%. Others buy private plans directly with no help from the government. This means the majority of Americans already pay significant amounts for their own coverage. Yet federal subsidy dollars mainly support those who bought insurance through ACA exchanges. Trump's team argues that redirecting this funding directly to taxpayers could help millions who are struggling with rising premiums, high deductibles, and overall inflation. Supporters say this option gives Americans more freedom. People could use the money to pay premiums, reduce debt, cover medical bills, or simply support household expenses. Critics argue it might destabilize ACA markets by eliminating subsidies. But the core idea is gaining traction because returning the funds to consumers could be framed as a direct economic support plan during a time of extreme financial stress. Lawmakers are now debating who would receive this funding if ACA subsidies are replaced with direct payments. The first option is to give the money to all taxpayers, which would cover roughly 180 million workers. This mirrors the idea of a nationwide rebate program, allowing broad support for working families. The second option is more targeted. Direct payments only to people who maintain private or employer-based health insurance. This group represents the majority of insured Americans and aligns with the argument that subsidy replacements should help those already paying premiums. The third group would be those who maintain continuous 12-month coverage, meaning anyone insured for the entire year could qualify for a benefit. Interestingly, reports suggest that the group least likely to qualify are people currently buying insurance through ACA marketplaces with subsidies. The reasoning is that replacing subsidies with direct financial support fundamentally shifts the purpose of the funding. Instead of maintaining ACA premium discounts, funds would support general affordability for households who pay full premium costs on their own. This is why the proposal is highly controversial. The beneficiaries of the current system and the possible beneficiaries of the new system are two different groups. Even though the Trump team has floated the idea of sending money to Americans, the mechanism for delivering those payments is still under debate. Lawmakers are weighing three major options. The first is a refundable tax credit, which would provide the strongest financial support because even households with low income and low tax liability would still receive money. The second option is a non-refundable tax credit, which would reduce taxes owed but would not produce a payout if someone owes little or no tax. The third is a refund-style rebate, which would function like a guaranteed payment during tax season, somewhat similar to past stimulus programs, but tied to coverage and income verification. A fourth option, traditional stimulus checks, appears to be the least likely. Lawmakers want a system linked to insurance coverage so that the funds serve a clear policy purpose, not just a general economic boost. Reports also indicate the IRS may play a major role in verifying who had coverage for all 12 months, which would determine eligibility. This is similar to how the government previously verified insurance status during the original ACA years when people without coverage faced tax penalties. Now the model may be reversed. Instead of a penalty for lacking coverage, a reward may go to people who maintain it. Congress has only 3 weeks to agree on a plan before lawmakers leave for their Christmas recess. If no decision is made by mid-December, there may be little time left in 2026 to draft, negotiate, and pass a replacement or extension before ACA subsidies expire. This creates a major deadline, and the stakes could not be higher. Not acting in time could lead to massive premium spikes, millions losing coverage, or a last-minute scramble to rescue the system in 2026. Acting quickly could reshape the entire insurance landscape by choosing either to maintain subsidies or redirect funds to taxpayers through a new payment model. The broader issue is that America is dealing with an affordability crisis that touches every part of daily life. Housing, food, transportation, and medical care are consuming larger portions of household budgets, especially for seniors, disabled individuals, and low-income families. Trump's team believes that giving money directly to Americans is one way to relieve pressure quickly. Democrats argue that eliminating subsidies without a stable replacement could create chaos. The next few weeks will determine not only what happens to ACA premiums, but also whether Americans could see real payments hit their bank accounts in the coming year. Thank you for staying with me through this important update. As soon as Congress makes a final decision on these healthcare changes and any direct payment plans, I'll bring you the news right away. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to Social Security Post so you never miss the updates that can affect your benefits, your wallet, and your healthcare. And if you have questions, drop them below. I'm here to help you get the facts you deserve.